read the Hunger Games series for the first time before I was really tracking my reading, so I don't know when exactly. I just know that that was at some point before the movies came out. I reread them last year, and let me tell you that reading about state-sanctioned violence in order to quell rebellion hit different in the year of our Lord 2020. The Hunger Games is much like the Twilight series in the fact that it hit like a sort of pop culture critical mass, and it's also a piece of transmedia. So you have both what is written and what we have seen visually informing how we perceive this story. Katniss Everdeen is described in the books as having olive skin, straight black hair, and gray eyes, something that she calls the look of the poorest people who belong to District 12. By contrast, her mom and Prim have the look of the merchant class. They are blonde hair and blue-eyed, as is Peeta. Rue and Thresh from District 11 are both described as having dark brown skin and dark hair, a fact that flew by many a reader's head, as we saw when the casting was announced, and those very same readers took to Twitter to be racist. In an interview predating the films, Cullen says that the characters of District 12 were not specifically intended to be biracial. This plays right into something that I had talked about previously, and that is a tendency to leave main characters described in racial ambiguity, and that ambiguity is all well and good except for it's not applied equally. Rue and Thresh are black. Now that said, I think Rue as a character is really interesting, and I think Collins does better than most when it comes to race, but there are still some ways that she hits some of these tropes, things that are highlighted by the casting of a white actress in the movie adaptations. A lot of how I now interpret Rue is influenced by Ebony Elizabeth Thomas in her book The Dark Fantastic. On the negative side, Rue does get slotted into a typical trope that we see for characters of color. She is sacrificed to provide motivation to the white hero's journey. Rue's death is a pivotal moment in Katniss's story. That said, we get to see something with Rue that we rarely get to see of black girls in media and innocence. Rue is a big part of the heart and emotion and sort of like the moral center of the first book. The first few times Katniss sees and meets Rue, she compares her to Prim. And I think this is part of the reason that people completely miss that Rue was black while reading. Katniss has experienced a lot of hardship even before coming into the Hunger Games, but it is the televised moment of the killing of an innocent black child that radicalizes her. And again, if that doesn't just keep becoming more and more timely, I think the issue here is that Collins was thinking more about class than she was about race. And in not considering race, I don't think she fully considered what each of her characters did within the story. And so while we do get to see Rue characterized as innocent compared to the Mockingjay and strongly tied to the imagery of the Mockingjay, she still, by sacrificing her, plays into a trope that is clumsy at best.